Hey everyone, so today I'm going to do pick a card reading. It's going to be kind of a two-parter. The first part is going to be what do people think of you, just like generally as a collective. And then the second part, you can think of a certain person and then it's what do they think of you. Just showing you some things I have done. I made myself some new earrings because it's Summerween. And of course, we're going with the Mean Girls theme today. We have my burn book mug. We're using the Mean Girls tarot deck. And yeah, so let's jump on in. So if you feel drawn to number 1, let's go ahead and see here. If you feel drawn to number 1, we have here my high heel perfume. If you feel drawn to number 2, go with my earrings. And if you feel drawn to number 3, go with my black nails. Pauses if you need to make your selection. So here we go. Okay. All right, so now if you chose number 1, let's go ahead and see. What do people think of you? That was with the high heel. Okay, generally speaking, basically like as a collective, what do people think of you? Truth be told. Okay. First thing that's coming up is I know this is what do people think of you, but I also feel like you yourself, okay baby, I'll be there in a minute. I also feel like you yourself may sometimes feel like you tend to draw in fake friendships because this is reversed and that was the first thing that came through. But now just going back to what do people think of you, I think they sometimes think you can be easily manipulated. And it's not that they don't like you. I do feel like, generally speaking, they feel like they do like you, but maybe manipulated isn't the right word. Maybe easily persuaded or easily influenced. Because again, this is Mean Girls theme. And we know that Janice had her own agenda at first when wanting to use Caddy to get back at Regina. But she also did like Caddy, you know what I mean? So it's kind of more than one thing can be true at the same time, kind of a vibe with this. What I'm also seeing here is we have here the 8 of Plastics, which is the 8 of Pentacles energy. People also see you as somebody with impact. Yes, you can be influenced in their opinion, collectively speaking, but you are also somebody with great impact. And with that being said, sometimes they feel like instead of taking accountability, you can sometimes maybe just sometimes takes you a while to take full accountability, but you also can sometimes tend to want to blame other people for what you have going on. But at the end of the day, they do feel like you are somebody that can have impact and that you ultimately do find ways to overcome issues. This is off of the scene where they were talking through the issues when the burn book came out in the movie. So they also see you as loving. That's what I'm getting from this energy. They also, for many of you, if you are in a relationship, then I would take that as they tend to sometimes be a little bit envious of what they view your relationship to be. Obviously, they don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but that's coming through. And if you're not in a relationship, I just take this as they do see you as a loving kind of a person or somebody that they find ways to connect with. Like they feel like they can connect with you, even if it's platonically, like in terms of business or whatever. Like they do find you as someone that's easy to connect with. And they also feel like overall that you're caring and giving and sensitive as well, but in a positive way. Like you have a lot, you're empathetic, you know? So that's what I see right now as far as the overall energy, as far as like what people think of you, generally speaking. Of course, that can change throughout time, but that's what's coming through. Now take a moment to think of a person that you're curious about, and when you're ready, go ahead and hit play. We'll look into what do they think of you, of the person in question in mind. So right now, whoever it is you're thinking of, they do view you as surprising to them because they feel like you have overcome a struggle. You are more accomplished, and if they also feel like you may have slowed down a little bit in an area of life, which has now allowed you to succeed in another area of life as well. Like, if you know the movie, this is the scene after they won the competition with the mathletes. So there's that feeling of, it may have started out as you going through a period in life that you didn't want to have to be involved in or weren't that proud of, but you overcame it. And so they are proud of you, and they do see you as kind of like the underdog kind of an energy. But that may be so, even though they do feel a connection with you, they may still be a bit not fully on the same page with you. Like, they do feel you to be very, very loving, but they may not fully reciprocate that same energy at this exact same time because they are just emotionally disconnected or just avoidant at this time, even though they still feel a bond with you, whoever this may be. Like, you guys are just not really linked up in the same kind of vibration right now, at least not speaking on forever, at least as far as where they stand with things. So that's what I see right now. If you made it this far for number 1, send me a crown emoji. Let me know what's going on. Like, comment, share, and I'll talk to you another time. Find number 1. Okay, so for those of you who chose 2 with the ghost face earrings, let's go ahead and see what people think of you. Truth be told, as a collective, generally speaking. Of course, that can change. This can change throughout time, but this is what's coming through right now. Okay, so they all came up reversed, but then I realized I was holding the deck upside down, so I'm not going to read them as reversals. However, I also feel like that equally happened for a reason, because the first card I'm seeing is the Tower. So things right now may feel in reverse somehow for you in your life. I don't know exactly how that's gonna work for each individual, but it just kind of feels like things are upside down or on reverse, or like the script has flipped. Like the script has flipped, or like you have flipped the script on them. People may have viewed you as having flipped the script, is what I feel with this. So it also feels like, with that being said, it's like maybe before, this is just an example, but if it resonates, it resonates. Maybe before you had been sort of in more of a sadness or victim mindset, and now the script has flipped and you're now using the anger to almost just like inspire you to make a change, like using that anger as fuel to channel it or transmute it into something that can help you feel like you've gotten your power back. Or maybe before, you were somebody who you would allow others to use you as a scapegoat, and now you're flipping the script and holding them accountable. Like whatever area of life, in whatever way it resonates for you, that the flipped may have been script and the script may have been flipped and people may be seeing it that way. Use your discernment on what that is. I'm not here to think for you. I'm just reading the energy. So some harsh truths have been revealed. People may also view you as somebody who is a truth teller, like myself, where it's not that there's a way to do it, of course, and with compassion and empathy, of course, But people may view you as a truth teller. Like, you hit people with the hard truth that maybe they didn't want to ever see, or maybe they were just out of touch with the reality of something for whatever reason. But now it's like, you're going to look at this truth. It's here. And they may see you as that someone who delivers truth or is more blunt, that kind of a thing. And maybe you were not always that way. Maybe that is also where they feel the script may have been flipped. Why is that so hard for me to say? Okay, so what I'm also seeing here is people do view you as someone who they do overall enjoy working together with or being friends with. Now, they also see you as creative is another way I'm seeing this image. Like, they view you as somebody who's creative, someone who is very like a visionary kind of a thing, someone who thinks out of the box. They do view you as intelligent, but they also view you now as somebody who can see past surface level or facades, and they do feel like you may be more quick to cut somebody off rather than continuously try to work something out over and over and over. And honestly, you are, how I'm seeing this as, you are the villain in some people's story. Whether you actually are the villain or not, some people do sometimes see you as the villain in the story. Now, maybe that's because you do tend to break the facade or the illusion of certain things and expose truth. And for some of you, this is more of a like destructive kind of energy. For a select group of you, you will know who you are, where you can sometimes make decisions or be so blunt or truthful that it can sometimes hurt people's feelings, with like, you're not telling this truth or making decisions with other people in mind at the moment, and so the impact hits later, that kind of a thing. For some of you, this is not everybody, but for some of you it is that. But for those of you that are in the more healed version of self, then they do kind of sometimes see you as the villain in the story, whether you're deserving of it or not. And sometimes it's okay to have to just be the villain in the story, because some people are just not on the same page of where you're trying to go. But one thing that's coming through is, just keep in mind, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. For this group is something to remember. Maybe you're somebody who also gets easily frustrated with people that don't comprehend. So like, one thing I've been saying lately is, I feel like, I don't know if I can say the app with, okay, the clock app, as some people call it, the TT app, I'll put it that way. Hopefully you guys can figure out what I'm talking about. I feel like that app is making people not as smart, because people hear words or they read words, but they don't comprehend, or they don't actually listen and digest it. So it's like that short form content, people are not able to actually absorb information the way they should now. And I feel like some of this is that connected somehow to people not being able to really absorb what it is you're saying, and they're only taking away bits and pieces of certain things, if that makes sense. Okay, so now let's look into what do they think of you. So take a moment to think of a person you're curious about, and when you're ready, you can go ahead and hit play, and we'll see what do they think of you, for those of you who chose number 2. You okay, baby? Okay. Okay, in a minute. Yeah. This person you're wondering about, I would say for a majority of you, again, general reading, but I would say for a majority of you, they are people that may have known a version of you from the past, and so they struggle with seeing who you are now, and they still kind of look at you as that person from the past. They still kind of see you as somebody who may be a bit more naive, or they struggle with understanding this new version of that you've grown into now, because they still see you in the past as this more childlike or naive or almost innocent kind of person, and they don't understand that life has changed you so much for you, that now you're a lot stronger, a lot smarter, and you're not going to put up with a lot of the same stuff you used to. This person also doesn't view you as, it's still giving creative, it's still giving smart, it's still giving fun, it's still giving playful and loving as well. But they also still kind of see you as someone that can either be manipulated or influenced, or just not to the more mature level that you are now, because they're stuck holding you in this old version of how they used to see you. They also do view you as someone who's very emotional, who has a lot of feelings. This is the scene from Mean Girls where she doesn't even go here. It's on the back of my mug too. And she was just like, I just have a lot of feelings. So this person feels you as being emotional. That's not good or bad. I mean, it's how you handle it, I suppose. But this is also 7 of Cups energy. So they also view you as someone who has more options than you may even realize, that you can kind of go towards or channel that energy. And they also view you as someone who, this kind of goes back to the villain in their story kind of a thing. If you know this scene, this is the scene where people were blaming her for what happened to Regina in the bus. But Regina wasn't paying attention where she was going, and you know, she got hit by the bus because she was distracted and wasn't looking at her surroundings. So in other words, you may still be the villain in some people's story. It's kind of like, I know this term is overused, but you know, have you ever dealt with somebody that is more of a narcissistic vibe, and when you finally see the truth for how they are and you start standing up for yourself, and then they're just kind of like, whoa, where's all of this coming from, kind of a thing, that flipping the script vibe. And then they try to make you feel bad for standing up for yourself. They flip the script on you. It's kind of like that. And so this person also kind of views you or blames you for something that they have now been experiencing or going through. And I do feel like eventually they may begin to see their part in it all, but maybe just not yet. So that's what I see right now. If you made it this far, send me a bus emoji. Let me know what's going on. Like, comment, share, and I'll talk to you another time. Bye, number 2. Okay, those of you who chose 3 with the nails, let's go ahead and see how do people view you, truth be told, as a collective, generally speaking. Okay. Very intuitive. We have here the moon and the high priestess. This one was reversed. So maybe this could be as well that they view you as not knowing even just how amazing or powerful you are. Or maybe this is, you know what, this is kind of giving the energy of, this is just an example to explain what I'm feeling. The people that will, like, for example, watch a pick a card or a YouTube video or just a YouTube video or whatever. They watch it, they resonate with what you're saying, or maybe it hits them later, but they don't leave a review. They don't like the video. They kind of just do it in silence. It's kind of giving that energy to people that look at you from a distance and see all the gifts you have, and you may not realize it because they don't let it be known, kind of a thing. She has a fifth sense. Karen, sorry. Okay. So, and also they do view you as very intuitive, but you also tend to kind of trigger people's emotions. And maybe that's because you are more of an intuitive, or you read them. However you choose to interpret that, you just read them, or you let them know, or you just trigger that in them, the emotions out of them because of your energy that's coming through as well. They do also view you as someone who can sometimes look for validation or love in the wrong places for some of you. That's one thing that's coming through for some of you, maybe not everybody. Maybe you give people too many chances as well, and they know that. So some of them act up even more. But despite all that, they view you as being strong. They view you as a leader. They do know that there's a limit and a point to where things can be pushed before you really stand up tall and have to show them what you're about. There's only so much crap you can take, and they know that. And in your own way, they do see you as having these very strong leadership or influential and impactful abilities. They also do view you as being very smart, able to help see past problems to find the solutions. They also feel like you don't even know how much you have the answers already inside of you, and they want you to be, or they feel you should be more confident in yourself. But some of them also like the fact that you don't see your strength, because then they can continue to get a step ahead. And also, they do see you as being positive and warm and just like a breath of fresh air kind of energy, different than what they're used to, different than the normal. Like, you have more of a uniqueness about you, and what they do like about you in the positive sense is what makes you different. The weird side of you is what they like, or what really helps you to stand out. And if this is in a business sense for some of you, being weird is what makes you money, or can make you money. So use the weirdness to your advantage, if that makes sense. Okay, so now let's go ahead and think of a person you're curious about. And when you're ready, go ahead and hit play, and we'll see what do they think of you, for those of you who chose number 3. Coming up again, but they do think you're stronger than before. You may have had a rough past of it all, but now you're in a whole new place, and you're not going to go back to where you were before. Think of that line in the movie where he was like, what did he say? I did not leave the South Side for this. It's like whatever you left behind, you didn't make all those changes and evolve just to get back to the same kind of energy you were in before. So you're standing strong, and they see that. Okay, so they feel, just need to sit with the energy for a minute. I feel like they view you as having change, but they're struggling with seeing the change in you. These 3, I'm gonna start off with the ones that all came up reversed. All of these came up reversed, so this is what they look like upright. So they view you as having changed to where you are no longer feeling so stuck in pain or heartbreak, or you may still be overcoming certain things or disappointment, but they they struggle with digesting the new version of you. They may have known you to lack confidence before, but now you are more accepting of who you are. They may have viewed you to be stuck in one place at one point, but now they see you moving forward slowly and no longer letting, certain energies, certain doubts, certain insecurities to hold you back. Like, you no longer see certain things as, I'm trying to be sensitive about the words because of the imagery here, but you no longer, you're no longer letting yourself, making excuses for yourself. Like, despite the challenges that you have had, you are now continuing to hold your head high and move forward and understand that nobody's perfect. You're not perfect either. And that even in some moments where you may have felt like you were in pain or struggling, you may have actually hurt some people or this person in the process and not even realized it. So in other words, there's pain on both sides here with this person involved. And I think that's also why part of them is struggling with seeing the change that you're going through, experiencing within you, because they may still be stuck in some of their pain or their old ways as well. But they see you changing, they see you evolving. So there's a part of them that's a bit, they kind of look up to that, whether they admit it or not. And then they do also view you as someone who is now taking things into their own hands, taking the future into your own hands and moving forward and not letting the distractions around you to lose sight of your goals. And they do see you as getting your light back, your power back, that flame back, and so on. And so for some of you, yes, I do feel like they still feel drawn to you, and some of them, they're still watching, if this is somebody that you've been disconnected from. If not, then just know that this person does feel drawn to you and that they do keep an eye on things. So that's what I see. If you made it this far, send me a fire emoji, like, comment, share, subscribe, all the things, and I'll talk to you another time. Bye.